This episode of History Saver is brought to you by Addressing Gettysburg. Addressing Gettysburg is a podcast that shares great experiences, quality programs, awesome guests, and is a welcoming community for all who love Gettysburg. So join in with host Matt Callery and find out why Addressing Gettysburg is one of the top-rated podcasts online today. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, CastBox, Podbean, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, right here on YouTube. So check out Addressing Gettysburg today, where history is not boring. Thank you to Addressing Gettysburg for sponsoring this video.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
So we are here at the Lutheran Seminary, and behind me you can see the Lutheran Seminary cupola and building, which was used as a hospital, and it was used as a lookout for General Buford during the first day's battle. And this is a very historic angle of look at the Lutheran, and we're about to go in here in just a few moments, and we are going to visit the museum. But here's a really cool shot of the Lutheran. All right, guys, so we are here at the Lutheran Seminary in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. You may know this place from the famous movie Gettysburg, of course, as the scenes with General Buford on the top of the cupola. So anyway, let's go in, let's check out the Lutheran Seminary and check out some of the history of this place. So we have been exploring some of the hospitals around Gettysburg and field hospitals around Gettysburg. Well, here at the Lutheran Seminary, this building was used as a hospital during the battle, after the battle. And this is one of the most famous landmarks in all of Gettysburg. So let's go in, let's take a look at the museum and see what kind of history we can dig in for ourselves. All right, so we're inside the Lutheran Seminary Museum here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. After the battle, this building was used as a hospital. And we're gonna take a little look around this museum. And unfortunately, we don't have time to go up in the cupola, but maybe next time we come to Gettysburg, we'll be able to do that. And if you want to see more of that, you could probably check out JD's video on the History Underground, where he went up to the top of the cupola. Go back to his channel and check that out for yourself. But we're going to get in this elevator, we're going to jump up, we're going to go to the 4th floor and start working our way down through the museum here at the Lutheran Seminary. So as you enter the 4th floor here at the Lutheran Seminary in Gettysburg, it covers Gettysburg, July 1st, 1863, and it relates to the seminary's key role on the first day of the battle as an observation point, a strategic observation point for Buford, who is up in the cupola, of course. And here's some artifacts right off the bat as you come in here that was found here. This is a saddle girth ring, a horseshoe, and a shrapnel fragment, and the little piece of the cartridge cap box where you strap it down to connect it. So pretty cool. So John Buford's up in the top of the cupola on July the 1st, 1863, overlooking the battlefield here at Gettysburg. And these are some of the items that he was using to be able to do that. Some field glasses, a telescope. And this is the view he would have had. The view to the east on July the 1st. The view to the northwest that he would have had on July the 1st. And then the view to the north. And the view to the northwest. And a view to the west. southwest, the view to the south, and then the view to the southeast. And the cool thing about this museum, if you press the button, it will actually illuminate what you're looking at. So this would be downtown Gettysburg, Copp's Hill, and Cemetery Ridge. And then this one's Cemetery Ridge, and then Big Round Top. And then you got the Hagerstown Road. So you go through each of these panels, and it kind of highlights the positions of the strategic points that you're looking at. And this is the view that John Buford would have had on the morning of July the 1st, 1863. So pretty cool walking through here, seeing some of the things that was taking place. And in this room, well, we have what was going on in the morning of July the 1st. So as you walk in, they've got some really tremendous artwork panels on the walls here. And you've got some cavalry artifacts here, carbines, a revolver, a couple of revolvers, the sword hanger belt, riding boots, and saber. So just kind of telling you a little bit about what a cavalryman would have had during the war. And then you've got the McPherson barn door. This is the original door off the McPherson barn. If we were to look out of the window that's back here, you would see that barn. But this is a door panel that was removed from the McPherson barn in 1927, and it had several bullet holes in it from the first day of the battle, as you can see here, which is pretty cool to see. This barn door was in the midst of the first day's battle. And then this is a copy of John Buford's appointment to Major General Volunteers as he lay dying of typhoid fever in December of 1863, just months after the Battle of Gettysburg. And it's actually signed by President Abraham Lincoln and Secretary of War Edwin Stanton. And it's dated July 1st, 1863, in order to honor his heroic actions here in Gettysburg. So this is a very cool item. This is the handkerchief of J.F. Reynolds, General Reynolds, who's killed here in Gettysburg on the first day of the battle at Hurst Woods, now renamed Reynolds Woods. And he was killed by positioning his troops in that position. And like we said on the previous video, John Reynolds was considered to make the most difference on the field during the whole July 1st battle, even though he was only out there for about 15 minutes before he was shot. This is pretty cool. This is concerning the Ziegler children. 10-year-old Hugh Ziegler lived in this building with his family. His mother and father worked for the seminary. Early on the morning of July the 1st, a cavalry trooper sent him to buy bread and water for his horse. And this is a reproduction of a cavalry saddle, kind of commemorating that act that he did. And then we've got some more guns here. This is a U.S. model 1842 Harper's Ferry, and it's fitted with a bayonet and these are just examples of the rifled muskets. One is a U.S. model 1862 Springfield Armory, and then, or 1861 rather, and the other is an Enfield pattern 1853. So they're original too, which is pretty cool. So as you continue into the exhibits here, this is moving to midday, and this is a slant top portable writing desk, written in pencil on the back. It reads, "This desk belonged to Miss Schwartz on Stounware Avenue. She was a Gettysburg resident." And John Burns, the famous citizen who took up arms here in Gettysburg, actually at one point owned this desk. So this is a commission appointment of Alexander, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this guy's last name, as I am notorious for butchering last names. But he was a brigade general of volunteers signed by Edwin, and this is signed by Edwin Stanton and Abraham Lincoln, dated March 17, 1863. So that's his appointment. So these are letters from Henry Ulrich of Company C, 149th Pennsylvania. He was killed at Gettysburg on July the 1st. This is his final statement. And then a letter from Mary Downing to William Downing of Company I, 143rd Pennsylvania, July 6, 1863, members of the Bucktails. Downing was wounded on July the 1st, carrying the unit colors during the withdrawal from McPherson Ridge to Seminary Ridge. And then this is a bucktail that the soldiers of the 143rd Bucktail Brigade wore as a symbol in their hats. So this is pretty interesting here. So everyone knows of the Culp family here in Gettysburg. They were owners of Culp's Hill. Well, when they went into the Culp house, the Alabama troops tore up Mr. Culp's house pretty bad. It was a night regiment of Alabama volunteers that went into his home, and they left him a little nice handwritten note that says, "Mr. Culp, your house is tore up pretty bad. We will do a good deal more. Quit burning our houses and turning our women and children outdoors." So a nice little note the Alabama troops left Mr. Culp on his table when they left.
Brigadier General John Robinson.
So this is concerning the afternoon of July the 1st, 1863. And pretty cool exhibit highlighting some of the items and stories. So a couple of cool items here concerning the first day's battle here in Gettysburg is a couple of items that come from the battlefield itself. A portion of the original fence rail that was repurposed as a candlestick from the McPherson Ridge here, and then a portion of a blanket that was left by a Confederate soldier in Hurst Woods, now known as Reynolds Woods. And then you also have a window shutter from the home of Mary Thompson. The Mary Thompson house right across the street from the seminary was used as General Robert E. Lee's headquarters during the battle, and you could actually see damage in this window shutter from the bullets that were flying during the battle. So this Bible come from the Schmucker's house as it was ransacked by Confederates. The Confederate, however, retrieved the Bible from a dirt lane and placed it back on the shelf with a note inside of the home. So we're now on the third floor of the Lutheran Seminary, and you've got some more seminary items here removed during renovations. But this floor is talking about the seminary in use as a hospital during and after the Battle of Gettysburg. Some very cool artifacts here from different aspects around Gettysburg. This is the mourning bonnet from the 19th century and the mantua, if I'm even pronouncing that right, that was worn. Then you got some different embalming stuff here, and yeah, just really kind of terrible stuff. So you also have a great depiction in here of a grisly scene of what it would have looked like inside of one of the homes in Gettysburg or here in the seminary as well. The seminary was used as a hospital, so you had soldiers lying everywhere they could fiddle, and a grisly scene. So Gettysburg was also riddled with surgeons. This is carried by Hospital Steward Jacob Tomer, the 3rd Pennsylvania Cavalry at Gettysburg. And there's different artifacts in here concerning manuals and different things of the surgeons. So if you're ever here, come check it out. So here in Gettysburg, everywhere that was usable was turned into a hospital. And this is a scene in many of the homes, including here at the Lutheran Seminary. Guys laying on anything they could get them on. Looks like this soldier's laying on top of a door, getting his leg cut off. So if you were wounded during the Battle of Gettysburg and the arm or the leg, usually it was amputated. It wasn't done with surgical tools of the day. they basically hacked it off with a hacksaw. This is your surgeon's amputation kit. And this is original, so this actually sewed off somebody's arms, legs, hands. Yeah. Cool stuff, I guess. So here's some different artifacts from the ambulance corps. You can see some of the clothing emblems they wore here. And we were talking about William Frazanito and his studies of Alexander Garner's dead photos of the dead here at Gettysburg. And they've got some nice exhibits here on that you can actually come and check out for yourself. So again, everywhere here in Gettysburg that was usable was turned into a hospital and care for the wounded. And this is a scene that you may have saw inside of this seminary after the Battle of Gettysburg, and some during on the next 2 days after July the 1st, as women and doctors would become nurses to the wounded, along with many of the civilians in Gettysburg as well that were here to deal with the aftermath of things. And you can see some of the care that may have been administered to the patients here.
Many of them having received no care whatever. Lydia Ziegler, Gettysburg.
And here's some of the aftermath exhibit here, kind of telling the aftermath and recovering here at the hospital, at the seminary. Some more scenes of what that may have looked like. So, again, everywhere in Gettysburg was changed forever after July the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. On June the 30th, 1863, Gettysburg was one type of town. On July the 1st, 1863, overnight, as history changed forever. So we're on the second floor of the Lutheran Seminary Museum. And this is talking about the anti-slavery movement here in this area of Pennsylvania, especially in Adams County and the area of the seminary. And it concerns the movements, and there's all kinds of cool artifacts down here, including an address of the Honorable Edward Everett at the anniversary of the American Colonization Society. And in 1863, he spoke at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery in Gettysburg before Abraham Lincoln. And this letter is dated January 18, 1853, where he's talking about that anniversary of the American Colonization Society. Here's something very cool. This is an original copy of Uncle Tom's Cabin, dated 1852. This is a first edition. This book has seen a lot of history. So, this is concerning the Lutheran Church. Since this was the Lutheran Seminary, a Lutheran school, a lot of the schoolboys from this school went and fought, including some of the members of the June the 26th engagement that occurred here in Gettysburg prior to the battle. And this is talking about the crisis in the church and slavery concerning the church, and also the war concerning the church. So pretty cool exhibit to come in and see. So here at the seminary was a school. So this is talking about the seminarians, Bishop Daniel Alexander Payne and the Reverend Samuel Simon Schmucker, who opposed slavery and was a professor. And he is the man who is 1826 helped establish the General Synod of the Lutheran Church and founded the Lutheran Theological Seminary at Gettysburg. All right, guys. So this is the Lutheran Seminary, and we're going to continue on in Gettysburg. We got a lot to see and do. So keep sticking around. There's a lot going on. So until next time, guys, keep preserving history. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.